South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff has confirmed that North Korea fired 2 short-range ballistic missiles from Wonsan towards the East Sea on Monday afternoon at around 12:37 p.m. The Joint Chiefs said the maximum flight altitude was some 35 kilometers and the flight distance was around 240 kilometers. It said they were fired some 20 seconds apart from transporter erector launchers. The South Korean military is currently monitoring the situation while maintaining a defense posture in case of additional launches, and is closely working with the U.S. to verify more information about this latest launch. The Joint Chiefs called for the North to refrain from engaging in such actions that do not help in lowering military tensions on the Korean peninsula. That message was reiterated by Cheongwade, which convened an emergency meeting of security-related ministers Monday afternoon, presided over by National Security Director Chung Eui-yong to discuss the missile launch.
This Sunday was the first day after the ultimatum expired that Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan had imposed on Bashar al-Assad in Syria. Now, instead of the fighting abating and the conflict coming to a pause, if not an end, it seems that the situation there has worsened. As you mentioned, 2 Syrian Sukhoi fighter jets were downed this Sunday. A Turkish drone was also down. There's 1, according to Turkish government officials, 3, according to Syrian officials, and 6, according to Russian officials. So as you can see, that there's some confusion about the exact numbers on the ground. All of this despite the fact that Syria closed off its airspace.
Okay na, sige na, labas na muna, labas. Sige na, labas na muna. Labas? Ang daming nakabang. Buti na lang, tayo din lumabas.
In 2019, the New South Wales Police Organised Crime Squad and the New South Wales Crime Commission commenced Strikeforce Piranari investigating the importation, distribution and supply of illicit drugs into New South Wales. With the assistance of the Australian Border Force, last month an air cargo shipment from Southeast Asia was stopped and inspected and found to contain approximately 400 kilograms of amphetamines. This has an estimated street value of about $300 million. As a result of that seizure, a joint investigation was commenced with the New South Wales Police, the Australian Federal Police and the ACIC to investigate the persons or people who imported these illicit drugs into Australia.
Unauthorised protests are illegal in Kazakhstan. In the largest city, Almaty, police arrested dozens of activists who were on their way to an anti-government rally.
I'm being detained for no reason. They just caught me in the street. I'm 66 years old and I have heart problems. Let me go.
Sunday's rallies were organised following the death of Dulat Agadil. The 42-year-old activist died in jail last Monday. He'd been arrested by police for allegedly insulting a judge. The Kazakh government said he died of heart failure, but activists say the bruises on his body suggest he was beaten to death.
It's taken them months to get to Europe, but now that they're here, there's nowhere for them to go. Before dawn, migrant boats began arriving on Lesbos, so many that aid agencies couldn't process them fast enough. In just 2 hours, 4 boats carrying 200 people had come ashore. About half of them were children. By midday, the count had risen to 6 boats and almost 300 people, most from Afghanistan. Buses used to transport the migrants to the Moria reception centre couldn't cope with the influx, leaving the refugees huddled on the beach for hours.
It's the beginning of a new era in Uruguay. As centre-right Luis Lacalle Pou was sworn in as president on Sunday. For 15 years, the centre-left ruled this small South American nation, turning it into the most progressive in the region by legalizing marijuana, abortion and same-sex marriage. But the new president says it's time for change.
The citizens gave a strong message to me. The people spoke that it is necessary to change, but a change with consensus. It's now time to fulfill people's will.
Present at his inauguration were right-wing leaders from the region, like Brazil's Jair Bolsonaro and Chile's Sebastián Piñera.
The leader of a religious sect in South Korea at the center of a coronavirus outbreak has apologized for not stopping the infection from spreading. The founder of the controversial Shinjeonji church is being investigated for allegedly trying to cover up infections. The church in the city of Daegu has been described as the epicenter of South Korea's outbreak.
These are the last travel tickets ever being bought in Luxembourg. Passengers will save €2 per journey on average now that the fares are ending. This is all about taking cars off the road. People here waste around 30 hours per year stuck in traffic jams according to EU numbers. Luxembourg is one of the most congested places in Europe and the world. The city is a construction site at the moment. They're building 300 kilometres of cycle tracks to try and get people to ride. Ending the fares here in Luxembourg is just one part of an overarching plan to totally overhaul the transport network system. This is a state-of-the-art tram. It's the first line and it was launched in 2017. They hope to have a full network in 5 years' time.
Set of maps showing the full extent of US military bases in Africa last year has appeared online. This follows a deadly attack on an airfield in Kenya in January in which 3 Americans died and raised concerns over Washington's wider mission on the continent. Now, the documents were obtained by the investigative news website The Intercept and show the locations of 29 US military bases. The formerly secret data also discloses the whereabouts of American military operations in Africa. This is how the Pentagon describes its self-proclaimed light footprint in the area.
We will grow more efficient to contribute to higher defense priorities and refocus resources to global power competition. We cannot take pressure off major terrorist groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Today, AFRICOM does that using a light and relatively low-cost footprint by supporting African and international partners who are leading these efforts.
"21 people have died and more than 60 others injured in a bus accident in the Eastern Cape. The bus was travelling to Butterworth when the crash happened down an embankment."
Well, the incident one that you've spoken about, that is passed on, that includes the driver of the bus. And of course, we have 60 more people that have sustained injuries ranging from serious, critical, and others escaped with minor injuries. So that is the situation right now. And that alone hints at the possibility of an overload in this bus. It's clear that it had more than it was certified to carry. Because we're told that it's a bus that was certified to carry 65 passengers. And according to these numbers, we had well over 80 people staffed in that bus.